So here we are with our interim head coach, Mike Eccles, ahead of this game against Bradford Bulls. It's a Saturday evening game. It's a bit different this week. Usually a Sunday, of course, we play. I'm going to start off by getting your thoughts, though, Mike, on last week's game against Featherstone. It was, I thought, a pretty respectable scoreline, certainly given where they are in the league, where we are in the league, the amount of money they've spent, all that sort of thing. But I did ask you last week, after the game, you all right? And you said, no. It was one word answer, no. But having reflected upon it a week on, having trained with the guys and watched it on analysis and that sort of stuff, how do you reflect upon it now?
Well, I had to bite my tongue last week, really, if I'm being honest, Tom. So sorry if I was being a bit rude, mate. I wasn't angry with anyone at our club. We got some tough calls, mate, but I didn't want to speak on emotion. I always want to watch the game back through. And mate, I was so angry that, I felt we got some really rough calls, and I never, ever go down this route, but we did. I watched it back and, yeah, geez, we got some tough calls, mate. And I just felt for the boys because they deserve better than that. The effort they put in. If we'd got a fair crack of the whip on that side of it, we'd have been even closer. So really disappointed with that side of it, but I wanted to make sure I was quite levelled with that, with any comments surrounding that. So, okay. Yeah, having watched it back, mate, I was, still really happy with the boys. Lots of stuff for us to sort out ourselves. Just felt we didn't quite get a fair crack at the whip.
Okay, well, in that case, as regards to our performance and the things that you can control, what did you feel that we did well, and what did you feel that we did less well that we could improve upon?
Well, the game plan was to move them around. They're a very, very big team. We didn't want to firefight with them down the middle. Just a case of sheer physics. They're a much bigger team than we are. It was a very hot day, so we wanted to move them around, and we speak a lot about bravery, and not just bravery of winning a collision, but bravery to keep playing expansive, and not chancing your arm, but just trying to play the way we wanted to play, which was move the ball. The issue with that is that after 25 minutes or so, we got tired as they got tired, and that was the chance for us to be brave and really take them on, and we didn't. We kind of went into our shell a little bit and went down the middle of the field and got into a bit of a firefight with them. So, we were trying to get that message on, but it was tough. It was an incredibly hot day, and at times there was, from them as well, it was a little bit of survival mode, and if we'd have just had that little bit of extra bravery to say, no, we're going to carry on moving the ball around and play expansive, then I think we could have had them, really. I mean, we've paused the video multiple times on review and said, this is where we needed to play. This is where we needed to keep going. So the boys can see that and actually take even more confidence from it. That was where we fell down, really, Tom. Just not sticking to that style of play for longer periods of the game.
Well, you talk about periods of the game, and there have been flashes of brilliance. In fact, elongated periods of excellence in each of the games from York on, I think would be fair to say. How frustrating is it for you as a coach watching from the sidelines to see that not happening for the full game? And what do you do as a coach to try to improve that and make it so that we have those spells of excellence, but that last for a whole match?
Well, Sunday was a little bit different, Tom, because we'd never played that way before. So when I took over, I said, this is the way we're going to play without giving too much away. This is the game plan. These are the areas of the field that we're going to work down. And Sunday, we changed it up. So again, I'm really happy that they managed to do it for as long as they did.
Okay.
With more repetition, more training, working that way, I feel that we can improve. So into that specifically, that style of play, that will just come through repetition of training and playing. So certainly, I was more happy than disappointed, but that is where we fell down in not sticking to that process. But yeah, you're right. I think we've been really good since York for large areas of many games. So but that's what we're all looking for, isn't it? Just that one complete performance, bringing it all together. So if I'm honest, I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. You're never going to get your own way for 80 minutes, but geez, mate, we're so close to putting some teams away comfortably. So yeah, fingers crossed that starts this Saturday.
Indeed. On to Bradford. Lots of history between the two clubs, lots of links between the two clubs, including Brian Noble, who's in there as a sort of consultant head coach as well. We'll come on to him in a minute. How much do you enjoy historically games against Bradford? You know, both of us, Broncos and Bradford, historically among, you know, the sort of bigger names in rugby league in the UK.
Yeah, I suppose there's a little bit more to it, isn't there? You know, we were the two that got relegated when they brought relegation back in. When they sent two down, it was us and Bradford. So we've got back up once and they've not got back up. So Bradford are a huge club. It's a magical stadium to play in. It really is. For the lads who've not been there, it's very different. It's dug into the ground. There'll be a big fan base on, big crowd on. So, yeah, there's all those things that go with playing, what would you call them, a bigger club, a bigger brand. So that adds extra excitement, I think. But at the same time, you try and take the emotion out of it and the history out of it, because realistically means nothing. It's about how we're playing at the minute and how they're playing and how we can get the boys ready for that game.
Well, you talk about tough calls a little bit earlier. One of the toughest calls of the season is going to be, or has to have been, not being having that try ruled out late on against Bradford at home earlier on this season, which would have seen us win the game, an extra 2 points on the board. And as it was a defeat. I suppose, you know, the phrase about, you know, butterfly, you know, flaps his wings and, you know, causes an earthquake. What difference do you think? I mean, can you imagine, had we have won that game, what difference that potentially might have made? You might not even have a job. It's bonkers, these little sliding doors moments, isn't it?
It is, but I think, you know, where I'll be clear is, you know, isolated decisions, as bigger impacts as they happen in games. If you get a series of poor decisions against you, and not the big decisions, I'm talking about ruck infringements, I'm talking about repeated ruck infringements. Either way, that's where I get really disappointed, Tom. One-off decisions will even themselves out. You know, I do believe that you make your own luck. So, yeah, you're right that could have had a massive sliding doors effect, butterfly effect, whatever you want to say, on the season, on the team, on the club, on the coaching staff. But I don't kind of get too carried away with isolated incidents, if you like.
So tell us about the team news then for the game. We've just put out the squad earlier on social media, but talk us through how we're looking.
Yeah, good. Yeah, Lewis Buoyant won't be ready, so he's going to need a bit more time. But good news on him, he's going to be back in the near future, hopefully next week. You know, there was a genuine concern over Lewis being out for the season, but he's not. So that's brilliant news for everybody. We're hoping to get a couple of players back. We've still got some late checks today on Jordan Williams and Brad Foster, who missed the game last week. So we'll know more about them later on today. And other than that, it's pretty much as it was. We haven't picked up any injuries from last week, so we're doing okay on that front.
It's an interesting time to play Bradford. I'm sure that you're aware of some of the things that have been going on at that club. A bit of unhappiness among the fans. There was a fan forum this week where they weren't allowed to speak, and they expressed upset with how the club was being managed. So they have the potential, if you can get on top early doors, to unsettle, I suppose, an already frustrated fan base. Does that play into your thinking at all?
I'd be lying if you said you weren't aware of it. And I'd be lying if I just said, well, you know, it's something we can't control, so we don't think about it. You still think about it because you're aware of it. We all know what's going on in the game. So, I don't know the reasons why the fans are disgruntled the way they are, but I know that they are. It got quite hostile the other week against Newcastle. You can hear it on the audio when you're watching the games. So whether that's dismay on the on-field performance or off-field, I really don't know. But you're right. If you can get into the game early and you can create some pressure on the field, which is our plan anyway, then that's only going to add to the dismay really of the fans, which then does make it a more hostile environment for the home team. So yeah, we're aware of it. I wouldn't say we're really talking about it, mate. We are just very much focused on trying to create our own pressure for the evening on the team.
Well, one of the things that was levelled at that side, and I imagine if Brian Noble's got anything to do with it, he'll be working on improving it if it is indeed the case, is that some of the players at Bradford looked like they weren't fit enough. You will have analysed. We've got an analysis team there. You do lots of video analysis. Is that something that's been flagged up or not?
No, I mean they're a big team. They're one of in terms of size, sheer physics. They're up there with Featherstone in terms of a big team. So, classically, the bigger teams maybe aren't as mobile. So possibly, but at the same time, they're a very powerful team. With size comes power generally. So, yeah, I mean, we'll look to try and break them down energy-wise, but that's no different than anybody, to be honest. So I've not really looked into that personally.
Given that they are a strong and big side who will be able to bulldoze a little bit, one of the things that I think you could probably say about our defence is at times there has been occasions where it's been slightly brittle, perhaps. And so do you set up differently your defence, given that will likely be the way that Bradford approach this game, given their size?
Not necessarily. I mean, we like to take collective accountability, but in recent weeks, it's been individual missed tackles that have hurt the team. It's not been a systematic breakdown, or there's not too much we can do about that. It's been very much putting the accountability onto individuals to make their tackles, really, which is tough because you are highlighting individuals and saying you need to fix it up for the team. So, no, not really. Not really. It is just a case of sticking to trying to improve our defensive systems, which have needed improving since I took over, and then just relying on individuals, because individuals will get isolated in games. When you play good teams, you will have to make one-on-ones, and just making sure we can do that.
There was, when Paul Allberg got yellow carded at the weekend, Featherstone instantly scored. It's so damaging to lose any player on a yellow card, and against a side as strong as Featherstone, even tougher. Is that something you're trying to focus on as well? Let's not get any yellow cards, boys. It's really important that doesn't happen because of what it does to a game.
Yeah, I mean that was a yellow card. There was no issues with that decision at all. That was a yellow card, and it did hurt us. No, we haven't. I mean, those are difficult ones. He's trying to buy the team time to get back on side, to not concede. He gets up 2 seconds earlier and he's probably saved the day, and he doesn't. He gets yellow carded, and it's incredibly damaging. So it was a fine line. So Paul is absolutely, devastated, to be honest with you. So, he'll make that up. So no, we don't. Everybody knows the situation there, so we probably don't try and highlight that too much, unless it's something ridiculous.
Paul's been fantastic recently, to be fair. I mean, I think he's been as the team has improved, he's been very much at the forefront of that.
Yeah, my thoughts on Paulie and all the lads have been great, but Paul has been awesome. Yeah, and he's disappointed with that at the weekend, and he'll make it up to the team, no doubt.
Well, I'm sure you all will, and we wish you the very best. Go up to Odsall and bring back those 2 points, Mike.
Cheers, Tom. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, buddy.